Hello, and welcome to the Be Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast, where we are reshaping life, leadership, and business from the inside out. And today I am welcoming to the show a fellow Aussie, Bron Watson. Welcome to the show, Bron.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Thank you. And Bron, I've completely forgotten whereabouts you're in Port Macquarie, right?
I am.
Oh,
4 hours north of
I've
Sydney.
forgotten.
Well done, you.
How's the weather? How's the winter weather in Port Macquarie?
Look, while we were away, apparently it's been really cold. And, it's cold for us, remembering, when you get to 10, it's freezing. So 10
Yes.
Celsius, that is. So, I think we're pretty riding it out pretty well, actually.
Yeah, good on you. And a big shout out to all the listeners. Hello, how is everybody all around the world? Just a reminder to please share, like, comment. We have I shouldn't say action, a beautifully packed conversation with Bron today. Bron, you've just come fresh back from Europe. Good on
I
you.
have.
Spain, beautifully. What did you say? You said Madrid, Granada, Cadiz, and Toledo. Never been to Spain
And
before.
Sevilla
Oh,
and
Sevilla,
Cordoba.
that's right. Oh my
So it's
gosh.
just sort of the southern sort of side. So it's hot. 42 degrees at like 8 o'clock at night
Yeah, it's wild,
in
isn't it?
Madrid and Sevilla. But
Um,
oh my gosh, what a place. Well
what was
done,
your
the World Cup
highlight?
people. I think for me, the highlight, and I'll never get the name right, in Granada, is at Al Habara, which is the most incredible set of buildings in history from the Moors, the Christians from the last however many thousand years, and the gardens and these buildings. And they built them without engineers they would have been
I know.
engineers, but without tape measures. It's insane what they have done, but the gardens were just something
The
else.
walking up to the, what's it called? The
That's it, the something Harara. Look,
Yep,
please
yep,
correct me. I've got it wrong, but it's Al Habara, something like that.
but
And it's,
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. It's
oh,
beautiful. I stayed opposite
stunning.
it. Like it was, yeah, it's just divine. You feel like you're in the enchanted woods or something, don't you? It's
Yep.
mystical,
Yep. We
magical.
walked down through all of the wood and all of the roads, and it was just, yeah, just the connection when you're looking at something that the amount of centuries and culture have come together and still standing as beautiful it was the day it was built. So, but the gardens and the waterways which they created with, they didn't have electrical pumps to push the water around, which we do today. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was something else.
There's something also about, and which we'll tap into when we get into the pod. There's something about also, I think, like novel experiences, different culture, different vibe, isn't there? Like when you're in something and you're immersed in it,
Mm.
it's the ability to get that fresh perspective and just to kind of quieten everything down. Do you agree? Like, did you notice that in
Do.
yourself?
Yes, but also you can be in a crowded city. Like I was in, let me just go Cadiz, for example, right? Crowded, lots of people everywhere, and you're in the plazas.
Yes.
But because the guy who was our leader per se he was an ex Kentucky tour guide and very dear friend, and actually comes from part of our school, one of my youngest school, right? But his knowledge speaks fluent Spanish because he lived there for years. Was he We paid notice to, obviously everyone's living in apartments, but they're sitting in their plazas, right? They're sitting, the elderly, the young, the kids are playing. And guess what? Hardly any mobile phones to be seen because they're sitting there
That's so
because that's what they do, and they watch the world go by and they talk to their neighbors. And I loved that. And I think that when you slow down, and we're hectic because we're in a tourism part of town, it's hectic, but so slow and meaningful at the same time if you just
I
take
like
a little
that.
second to look at what's going on.
Yes,
Isn't that profound in
just
life?
it is so profound, just being in the moment. Let's
Mm,
let's talk about that. Well, let's
yes,
get into it because you are the founder of you're founder of the Social Coach and the Serenity Project. We were just talking about the
yes.
Serenity then, actually, beautiful name.
We were.
A writer, a speaker, a registered nurse, educator, and advocate for healing. And for more than 3 decades, you've helped people navigate change with greater clarity, whether through healthcare, education, business, or life's most difficult moments. Excuse me. An important inflection point emerged after 2 cancer diagnoses. I got it wrong again.
Don't worry, it sounds good.
My goodness. Well, at least we're having a little bit of humor at, such a serious conversation. So I'll say that again. An important inflection point emerged after two cancer diagnoses transformed not only your health, but your perspective on success. You realized that the relentless pace you had built your business around was unsustainable, and that healing wasn't about becoming stronger. It was about finding serenity when life refused to slow down. And we were just saying pre show, right? Like,
Mm,
horses bolting so fast, and
yes.
we're trying to keep up with it. And you had the best analogy around the horse. And what did you say? We're
We
riding it.
don't ride the horse.
Yeah,
We get no, sorry, we don't want to ride the horses with the horse's pace. That horse is going our pace. And there's a reason why I say that is because my analogy to the business model that I built when I started the Bron Watson brand, which led through to through to the social coach business. So that's a marketing business. I've had a dual career, but that's a whole nother conversation. But when I built that, if 14 years ago, it's no different. You still go online, do the things, build the retreats, the
yeah,
workshops, the whole shebang, right? Did all of the things. But I liken that to like a little kitty, like a kitty cat. Imagine you and I, we've gone to the pet shop and I pick up this sabre-toothed tiger. I don't realize it's a sabre-tooth. I think it's this cute little cat. Oh, you're so cute. AKA my business. Bring it home, build it, give it food, nurture this lovely little kitty cat, and this thing's growing. Whoa, wow. Okay. That was my business model. It's growing, it's growing. And before I knew it, I'm riding the saber-toothed tiger and I can't get off because if I get off, that thing's going to kill me.
yeah.
And
So
that was
true.
my business model, that I had built this beautiful big beast that I didn't know was a beast. I just built what everyone else did. I followed what other people did, building something that was so not in alignment with me. And the funny thing is, throughout that whole process, my little gut voice, that little instinct inside, say, Bron, this is not for you. And I didn't listen. I
No.
did not listen because I was building, and I built a very successful business, but it came at such a cost.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm such an advocate around, it is the year of the horse, but do not get on the thing. It is
No.
not, you know what I mean? It rides hard, it rides fast, but you do not have to get on, because if you don't, if you, you can't get off,
No,
and
you
do
can't,
not,
and you
you know what I
can't.
mean?
No, you can't. And so is that why today, alongside helping businesses grow, you grow them through authentic
Yep.
marketing? You also support people navigating illness with compassion. You bring together that clinical knowledge, lived experience, and a deeply human approach to healing. And so through at the heart and soul of your work is a belief that healing isn't about fighting harder, exactly what we're just talking about here.
Yes.
Healing, business, you name it. It's about creating the space to breathe, embracing both science and soul, and discovering that serenity can exist even when life feels uncertain. There's so much
Yes.
uncertainty at the moment.
There is so much uncertainty, and I have learnt to live with that. Was it easy? No. No, it's not easy, but just to reassure you, my friends, it's doable. It can be done. And when you think adversity, for me, adversity came in form of health. So obviously with the breast cancer diagnosis, curable lane, all of the treatments, and that's where I faced my very first big epiphany in terms of life, which I'll just share very quickly, it was after the second chemotherapy. I'm already bald, I'm red, because they give you the chemotherapy, but then they give you all the drugs for the side effects of the chemotherapy, and then they get all the side effects. Then you're having drugs for the side effects for the side effects. Throw in all the natural things that you're doing as well, or some people call them alternative. I just call them treatment. And I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. And I was thinking, oh my God, who is that? And I realized it's me. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because I just got off a call of Facebook Live. Back in the day, we ran all our masterminds in Facebook groups. And who knows what I said. But I caught a glimpse and I put my finger up like this. And I said, do you want to die? You keep this up, girl, you're in trouble.
Mm.
And I shut the mastermind down overnight. Was it easy?
Wow.
No. Financially, horrific. Emotionally, horrific. Most of the clients were good, a few were bad. It's okay. That's their deal and they're allowed to do that. But for me, I backed myself for the first time in my life, and I was 48 years old. And I didn't know. So remembering no plan B, I didn't know how we were going to come out of it. but I'd started, and this is where I'd started what I'm now doing with Serenity Project, but I just didn't know what it was at the time. And so that's where, and especially fast forward now where I'm now, so that in February 2023, I have a diagnosis of multiple myeloma. So
Yeah,
that's a
which
blood
that hurts.
cancer.
Mm,
It's incurable. I will
yeah,
live with it for the rest of my life, whatever that means. Because if I listen to if I listen to Dr. Google and I listen to research and some doctors, man, I ain't got much time. Don't listen to that rubbish. Does it mean that I'm a Pollyanna? No. But what it means is, though, we learn to live with adversity. So insert with this conversation from now on in, just insert your own adversity. Because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when an adversity strikes. And it's what
strikes. It
it
strikes.
does.
Strikes when you least expect it, and
Yes.
there's no one's Teflon, no one's like there's and I think this is the bit that we all need to get more comfortable with is that uncertainty because the rug can be pulled up from you in a second.
In a second. And that comes in so many shapes and sizes. And it's not that you're in a space of going, you're not projecting, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. That is not what that means. Accepting and living with uncertainty is that I am so strong. Like I have a saying called, I know I will, I just don't know how, which means that I've let go of the control of all of the 20 things that I think I need to do to bring something to fruition. So when we start focusing on now and letting be, not let go, let be of what is to come, it means that uncertainty becomes, it's going to sound terrible and you may not understand what I'm saying, but it becomes comfortable, meaning that, like I walk into that cancer institute every single month. I have bloods every single month and I don't know when those bloods are going to turn or if they're going to turn. And when they do or whatever, I am not worrying about that. I'm not projecting about it until I have had or having the conversation, until it's literally happening, which means I can walk into the Cancer Institute now and I am not fearful. I am
Mm,
not anxious and I'm not concerned because I don't become concerned until I need to become concerned.
yeah.
And it's a very strange thing because that's not how we're brought up.
No, and
All right.
it
It's not
makes
how we're brought up.
no, it's not how we're brought up, and I understand not from someone who's has cancer, but my dad's got multiple myeloma, and I was saying to you,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
he's on permanent chemo, and,
Yes.
like, has to have the bloods all the time, like, all of that, and someone said to us the other day, like, "How do you do it? How does your mum do it? How does your family do it?" It's like, well, you just get on with it. Like, you actually, like, you live your life, and then, like you say, when the next hurdle or obstacle comes up, you're like, "Okay, well, this is the next form of uncertainty,"
It is.
because you're constantly in uncertainty, right? Like, you're talking
You
about
are, but it doesn't mean you're ignoring it, right? So in
no,
my world, I feel the feels. So there are days, of course. I mean, I liken it for me. Can only talk for me and whoever, if it resonates, that's great. It's like a vortex of fear. So when the
yeah,
diagnosis comes and when things change, of course you're damn well in that thing and you're floating down. And but after the breast cancer, man, I was free falling. I didn't have anything to hold on. I just literally felt as if I was free falling. And it's taken years, but now I know that if I fall in, I can get out.
yeah,
So you're in, you're out, you're in, but you're walking around the top. And that's where I'm not going to have that live in a place of fear until I have to. So I name it. I name what I'm feeling. I give it a name. Psychologically, I mean, the experts will be able to tell us is that what it does is it provides a space psychologically in our brain to give us a separation. So imagine you've got this feeling and it's smacking up against your face, right? You can't see anything. But when you name it and you give it a little bit of space, you're not removing it. You're not trying to fix it, Mrs. Fix It over here. Me, right? I've let go of being Mrs. Fix It. I can't fix that. But what it does when I push it back, when I feel the feels and I name it, that's where the serenity prayer comes in. So I'll say it now in case people don't know it, which is God grant me serenity to accept what I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can and the wisdom to know the difference. So insert whoever you believe, higher purpose, source,
This, yeah.
Dennis, whoever. It doesn't matter. What
No,
matters is what
exactly.
you believe, right?
Yeah,
But God grant you serenity to accept what you cannot change. So back to the feel the feels, control the controllables. Guarantee you 95% of the time it's out of your control.
totally. It is. I
It's
mean,
out of
that's
your control.
so out of your control. Tell us, can we go right back to when
Hmm.
you shut the mastermind down
Yes.
and you were like living in the utmost uncertainty, staring at yourself going, "Who the hell are you? What am I?" And at the time, you didn't realize what was forming, if you like, in the Serenity project.
Well, it wasn't even on the cards at that time, yeah.
It wasn't even on the cards. Did you, at that point, put everything, like, on hold and go and put your health first? And was that when you started to notice that this is uncertainty and I need to live in this? Like, how did you start to become comfortable in the uncomfortable and in the uncertainty?
It's such a good question. So just to clarity there, I was not in a financial position where I could just stop everything.
No, and I
Okay,
was
so I
thinking
didn't
that.
I couldn't hit pause, I did not have income protection. My husband has income protection. I never got it. I'll never get it now. Why didn't I have it? I don't know. If you're in business and please
Yeah.
get your income protection. There's loads of ways you can get it, just get it. I didn't have it, right? So I had to look at what I had. And I didn't have capacity to start something new. So I had to look at what I had. So obviously, after a dual career in nursing and education and marketing, I'd done some training with a lady called Jennifer who ran Barack Obama's second social media campaign. She knew a thing about social media. So I learnt that because marketing's marketing, marketing's emotion. People don't change. I
Yeah,
know you think you
totally.
do. Technology changes, but people don't change. And I looked into my, call it a toolbox, call it what you will, my little baskets of bits, because all I had was bits. And I put together what I could offer without having to go and learn something new because I had no capacity. And this is where I first started to learn about capacity as my compass.
Mm,
And so I started, believe it or not, I was running Facebook workshops. This is in 2018, 4-hour Facebook workshops in my local area. And I had never worked in my local area. And I was told I couldn't do it. And I was told I'd have to charge $20. And I didn't. I was charging $250 for a 4-hour workshop. And I ran them at the library. I hired the room there. I didn't have the beautiful shiny room with all the morning tea. I had all of the things, right? I looked at what I had because that's financially all I had. And then from there, the social coach came about. It was rebranded, get off my name. We worked with a work with you package. I looked at what I could provide
yeah,
value to small businesses who I'd already been working with, but just in a completely different capacity. And because I knew that there was no more coaching as such, that was gone. I call myself a mentor, not a coach anyway, but no more mentoring because I knew that that was not good for my soul. And that is what I did to sustain myself and then give me purpose as well, that I wasn't all consumed. And then, of course, you come out of with a curable treatment plan is that you've come out and then you're checked to see if you remain cured.
yes.
And so I'd gone through all of that. I'd started working on what I now call the Serenity Project, which was starting to work and looking after me. I mean, back in those days, I thought that self-care was indulgence. And, I so missed the memo that it was actually the most important thing in life.
It's so I know I missed that memo too, and I
It's the damn
sometimes
how
I
did I miss the
still have
memo? But I
find
did.
yeah.
I wanted to look after everyone else. And then I got, and this is where I hope people don't get to where I to where I got to. And it wasn't and things were going so well and beautiful. I've got a gorgeous team and still do. And they're just the most amazing humans to stick with me through all of the changes. And then of course came the diagnosis of myeloma. And then that's a completely different because now I'm in the incurable lane.
Mm,
And now I'm just praying for time. Please give me time. And, I didn't get time. I got 2 weeks between diagnosis and starting chemotherapy, getting ready for the stem cell transplant.
Yeah.
And as
And
you
that's
said,
so intense.
I'm on
That's
treatment. I'm just not on chemo. I'm on immunotherapy right now. So you know what I mean? I'm always on something. And so, and it's through that time that, like, I called in a beautiful friend of mine after the myeloma diagnosis and said, I need help. And she's an energy healer. And I said, I don't know what I need, but I know I need you. Her name's Kerry Chinner, and she helped me find my soul again. I don't know how to word it, Kerry. I'm so sorry. I've got the wrong language, but there's quantum something or others and the da 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 da,
yeah.
and I don't know how to explain it, but she brought me back to me.
Because I was going to call you Kerry then, because Bron, can we pause there for a second? Because multiple myeloma is a very complicated blood
Very.
cancer, and
It
it's
is.
very different for every single person who is diagnosed with it. And you're instantly, from the minute you're diagnosed, you're very quickly put on the chemo train. And then if you're eligible,
If you're
because
eligible, you
if
got to
you're
be under
eligible,
70 to be
yeah,
eligible.
you've got to be under 70, and Dad was as well at the time. There's another part to this as well in terms of stem cell basically takes you to death and back, really.
It
Like
does.
it's
It
ground, what
does.
is it, day 0, and I still remember that in terms
I
of,
rem- I can.
so you're
Yep.
facing, so my question, because you're facing immortality,
Mm,
like in terms of that is a part of a stem cell transplant, and you think
it
about
is.
young children and younger ones who get blood cancer as well. And so here you are, you're contacting an energy woman, Kerry, to reconnect you back to your soul, because you, without probably realizing, are going on the biggest journey of your life.
Mm.
Do you think that helped you through probably the most fearful, like you've already had cancer, right? So you kind of
This is
know
very different. This
that's,
incurable lane, let me tell you, and I'm allowed to say that that's where, when I talk about the third space between science and soul with evidence and perspective, one of very few people who can sit in there and absolutely categorically say what I say, because I've been in the curable lane and the incurable lane. Yeah, like knowing that you're going in and you're going to go in and your bloods are going to end up with no white cells,
yeah,
like nothing, zero,
wild, wild.
zero, zero. With that, which means that if you catch any disease or any illness or any bug, which is they monitor you for, it's time. The people don't make it. People do not come out of there. So I'm very blessed. Did I get sick? Yes, I did. It takes many months to get over a stem cell transplant, and they call it a rebirth because they knock off, as you well know, they knock off all your baby stem cells in your big bones, like in your hip and everywhere, and then you get given back your own. In my
You still got
words,
that
the
smell.
shitty bloody baby stem cells. Well, I don't want my own back. Yeah, but Bron, you've got more chance of dying if we don't give you yours back. I said,
Yeah.
great. Because it's not curable, which means you're getting given back what you've just, anyway, besides all of that, um, that's where when they talk rebirth, I now bring that in as part of when I'm thinking through that. That is literally, I now have a chance to find the most important things in life to me. I'm a mother of 5 boys. I've got 5 children, and the youngest was, well, he's only 17 now. And this kid only knows since the age of 8 the word cancer in our house. Like, that is not cool. It's not cool.
It's a
So
lot.
it is a lot. But he's the most resilient, amazing human you've ever seen. And I think it's because he's absorbed and learnt along with me. Has there been tears? A lot of tears, a lot of sadness, grieving your own mortality. Knowing, especially if you listen to science, if you listen, and science and medicine is just one pillar in health. There are so many different pillars that should become part of what I call the healing process. Our patients deserve better. They are human beings attached to that blood result. And it's not anybody's fault. It's not the doctors or the nurses. It's just a system that they are learnt to treat you as a disease.
Mm.
By the way, human over
I'm
here.
human, yeah.
I
That's
give
the sole
feedback.
piece. That's the sole piece for me though too, don't you think?
That is.
Like, because you talk around this third space, science and soul,
Yep.
that's a really, tell us a little bit then around, you get this second diagnosis and it's incurable.
Yeah.
You've started the Serenity Project. Has the Serenity Project actually the name, has it come to fruition at that point? Or is it once, like
Still
where?
going, still learning. It has now. So in 2023, no, because I've always known, so I always thought it was just going to be a book. All right. Didn't know what I was writing about. Actually wrote a chapter, would you believe, in 2016, so pre-cancer, and I found it in 2023 and I went, oh, I'm literally writing as if I'm writing to myself. And it's about this person who's on this journey and gets on a plane, thinks they're going on holidays, and they're going, congratulations, Bron, you're off to the Himalayas. And I'm going, what? I thought I was off to, Florida. And I'm wearing, flip-flops and no, 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 you're going to the Himalayas and you're climbing to base camp. That's what you're doing on your holiday right now, Bron. This is what it's like getting, and I didn't know. I was literally writing to myself, and it's literally 5,500 words. It's one of the chapters of the book. And I didn't know what I was writing, and it just came together. And so where I focused was that I just started to work on what I now call serenity moments. Finding serenity, there's no end. So that's why I call it healing. And so insert whatever adversity track you're on. You can put whatever your thing. For me, it's healing, right? So imagine on the phone, I get out the maps and I type in healing. And what'll happen on your map, it just calibrates and look, hello, there's a lovely blue line. And, just like I've been in Spain and in Japan, you follow the damn line because you don't know where else. You can't even
No,
read the
you
word. You
do.
can't even read what's going on, right? So I'm following my blue line. This is what I literally did without realizing what I was doing. And then along would come a roadblock. It would be an adversity of some shape. In health, there's always what I call left-hand turns. Something didn't work or a scan or blood, something would happen. And it's a bit like that roadmap, which is, it's a roadblock. So what happens? Well, they know you can't get through. It always recalibrates. It'll knock
All
you off
course
to the
correct.
left,
Yeah. Yeah.
knock you off to the right, but it'll always, always take you back to where you're going. That's what a path of healing is about. So I was on a path of finding serenity, which is what the book was originally called, finding serenity. And I realized that they were serenity moments because you can't just sit, it's not rainbows and lollipops and I've run businesses through the whole of this. I've got a team of 3 and I'm doing all of the things, but they're serenity moments.
Mm,
I call it a moment in time because if you were to be brutally honest, that's what we have.
mm.
A moments in time. And I always finish my own podcast, which is we take those moments because the moments make the memories and that's how we make every day
Yeah,
count.
I agree. And then, yeah, we
And that's where it all came from. So no, it's evolved. So that's where I am the Serenity Project. I'm the beta test. And
you're the living
I'm the lived
experience.
experience. And
You're the
there's a
lived
lot, it's all about the practical way of navigating and living through cancer or through any serious adversity. Because quite frankly, there's actually there's no difference. It's just we all have different shapes and sizes of what we're dealing with, whether it be money, relationships, loss, grief. For me, health, business, same as business. Goodness
So
me.
true, isn't it? It's so true. There's something really interesting what you brought up around the recalibration and this kind of almost like knocking us back into like when sometimes we can get so fixated on the road and
Yes,
that's when we get on that horse, like we think we're the horse. Well, the horse starts riding us. Let's use that analogy for
that's
example.
exactly right.
And then you get
And
tipped off or you're
yeah,
thrown off. And you were talking pre-show around your holiday and you said, B, it's the first time I haven't been unwell or sick on my holiday.
yeah.
Do you think or feel that the reason you didn't get any illness or any sickness on your holiday was because you were living in the moment the whole time? Like, or do you what something, there's something
Yeah,
there,
so I
right?
did say I
Because
prepped for it. There's actually multiple layers, right? So I very much focused on having an amazing holiday without illness, without adversity, without anything. Like I use, funnily enough, throughout it, I kept thinking, oh my God, Bron, you're gonna fall over. Something's gonna happen, right? I don't know whether I wished it upon myself or not, but anyway, but I prepped well, which means I spoke to my doctors. We planned my trip. So I took a low dose antibiotic. So when anybody's got illness or whatever, you need to speak to your specialist, speak to your therapist, speak to your people.
Agree.
There's lots of natural things you can do. So I'm on Armour Guard. I'm doing the things because I'm boosting a very, very tired immune system. My immune system is shot. So as in the medical, they call me immunocompromised, but I work with what I've got.
Yeah.
And I took a low dose antibiotic, which did the trick. And this was an antibiotic that I actually had allergic reactions to 3 years ago, and I actually got myself desensitized to it, and as I said, on top of that, we were walking, I ate well, I drank heaps of water in the heat, and I'd sort of planned to enjoy the moment, and even when I even when I fell off the bike, and that was embarrassing, but I literally were on a bike ride in beautiful Cadiz along the and there's the
It's such a beautiful
cobblestones, and
city. Yeah.
there's this lovely little path, and Bron decides, "Well, I'm gonna ride on the little path because I don't
And
wanna
she
go over the
falls off.
cobblestones." Like, what was I thinking? I'm with someone who said, "Oh, Bron, I wasn't gonna do that because I didn't think it was very safe." No, no, Bron. Down I go down the hill, clip the damn handle on the bars because obviously there's bars on all those really old buildings,
Yeah.
clonked myself onto the road, did the whole wobble, s tipped over, and of course, I have bruises like this big all over my legs, but I was laying there and I'm thinking, "Shit, I knew you were gonna fall off." "No, you didn't. Did you project it?" "No, you didn't." Back to the moment. The moment is nothing's broken.
Every
Yay.
I love
I
that.
don't care about anything. I don't care how much skin was off. There was bruises,
Everything's
there was
okay.
skin off, but I
Mm.
hadn't broken any bones. Even an ambulance came by and they're speaking to us in Spanish and no, 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 no. And they're going, oh, no, 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 no. And we're going, there's no way I could even begin to explain my health history. Like we haven't got 5,000 hours. And my husband's going, we're Australian. We've got it covered, and they're going, oh, see. I went, oh my God. But I planned, which means I prepped without projecting.
Mm.
Just be very clear there. I did not project good and bad things. What I did is that I'd stayed in the moment the whole time, but I was prepped,
Mm.
both physically, emotionally, and spiritually to have the best holiday. I actually consciously had done the work. And you know what? I think it paid off.
I
Everyone
do
will go,
too.
it's just the Bactrim. No, it's not. It's the whole story, I think, that brings it about. And insert that into prepping for your own thing in business. It's the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Tell us a little bit about that because, like, prepping
Mm,
versus projecting,
mm.
two very different things. Like, projecting feels more like control or I knew this would happen, or like versus prepping and trusting the process is probably where I'm going with this, right? And like, I think about this from a healing perspective, from a business perspective, from a relationship perspective, versus like if we bring it back to health for 1 second, like you have a terminal
I do.
diagnosis,
I do.
incurable, and so you could be prepping and what was the word? Predicting? Was it predict? No, projecting.
Projecting. Mm,
Projecting. I'm going to get a bad result next blood test, or I'm going to get versus no, I'm just going to stay in this very moment. Same in
mhm.
business. You
Same
can
in
have
business.
I watched something or listened to something the other day where it's like, you might have the first 3 years of your business do really poorly in terms of from a revenue commercial perspective, profitability, but in 1 month, it can basically turn everything around in 3 years. That's a real mindset, like, shift, if you like.
It is. And it's not something I think that comes naturally. So
No.
I can only talk for myself. So a lot of the times with our thoughts, we'll either look back and ruminate and, "Oh my God, how come that happened?" We ruminate what's going on and we try to pick apart what's already happened. Or projection is like imagine, like this is how I learnt from Kerry, right? So say something happens and and I've got to go and I've been called in to go and see the doctor. I'll give that as an example, right? And that's called A. A is the event. Something small happens, we call it A. A equals A. So what our brain naturally does is it'll go, hang on a minute. we've had this happen before and we've had bad results. Ooh, okay, that's B. Okay, so if we're going to have bad results, last time it was shit. What are you going to do this time? Well, oh my God, Bron, starting to project. Well, I've already happened to before. That's C. And then what about happened when you were 30 years ago as a kid? That's D. And then it's like, well, Bron, you're really smart. You've seen this in nursing. So you've seen it all before, but you're pulling together, creating a story that
Mm.
is not actually real. So,
No.
when you catch yourself and it's the best, it's the best Oscar winning role I've ever played are the movies that have been in my head that are so catastrophic.
Like,
And
I
I'm
agree.
and I'm overseeing my funeral and I've got the music and the flowers and people are doing this and people and I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?" That's projecting. Straight projecting. It's not real, but I'm emotionally attaching a whole massive story to something that is not real.
Mm.
And that is what we tend to do, which is A equals B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yep. Sorry, just it becomes you catastrophize it.
It's actually catastrophize. It actually is catastrophizing it versus A equals A. A, Bron, you've got a doctor's appointment equals you've got a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, reality check. Yeah.
And that is it. So when we stay with A equals A, it is here and now because that's what we have. It hasn't happened yet. When we stop building the stories based on our past and our
Mm.
memories and our beliefs in life, when we stop all of that, that's how I can walk into the Cancer Institute because A equals A. I am so consciously looking literally at my feet. My book is called Be Where Your Feet Are
Yeah. Well,
because that
it's
is my mantra in life. Just, Bron, when things start to get out of hand, look down. Be where your feet are.
be where your feet are. Yeah, I like to say look up, but I'm looking down to be where your feet are. Quite often people say things happen for a reason, and it and
I've
I
heard that.
yeah, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this because when you are faced with some form of adversity, whether it's a cancer diagnosis, a terminal cancer diagnosis, or someone passes away or something happens, and people say, thinking that it's a form of helping you and healing you, that things happen for a reason. And I remember someone a while ago said to me, "You've chosen the hard road," and I'm like, and it really shitted me. Like, it really pissed.
Laughing, I'm
No,
laughing
I am,
because
because that just
that
pissed
is the
me
most
off. Like, I mean,
ridiculous
it
thing you
really
should
did.
ever have. No, we do not say those things to
Yeah, because it's
people.
like, I don't know. I don't even know how to
There's
take
nothing
it. Like, adversity is adversity, right? Like, like
adversity,
you
and you
said.
know what? It's actually their problem, not yours, is what's going on there for the first thing, right? I've had people say, "Oh, Bron, it's God's will." Really? Really? Okay, believe what you will. That's fine. But don't say it to me. Do you know what
Mm,
I think in life, guys? Because, we can look back and blame and shame and find why did you get cancer twice? Oh, well, Bron, you haven't made peace with, blah, 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 blah. Really? Thank you for your input. I appreciate that. But where I am, I don't go back. My saying is bad shit happens to good people. Full
yeah,
stop.
yeah,
That is it. That is as much as I will even waste my time looking at. I've had doctors say to me, "Oh, Bron, have you had an environmental, have you been, in nursing? Did something happen?" I'm going, "I don't know." I can waste all my energy looking back,
mm,
all my energy looking back versus what have I got now? Well, I can't change it.
no,
But what I can do, and I'll just really quickly explain how, because I like to explain why I think what I do. So, you and I, believe it or not, we are great basketballers. We're on the basketball court and we're playing this basketball and we're running down the court. We're on offense. You pass it to me and I do the dead easiest shot, but I miss the hoop. Coach, time out, get off, come on.
get off the
In that
court. Yeah,
second, in that 30-second break, if you're a basketballer, you know what I mean. Yeah, 30 seconds, we can either pull apart what's happened or we can focus on the next play. Not the half, not the
no,
quarter, not the season, not the game,
agree.
literally the next play. So in life, that's why when I walk through those Cancer Institute doors, I'm okay. I will be okay until I'm not.
Yes,
And then I will deal with it because I'm focusing on the next play. It's the same in business.
I
When you're
agree.
overwhelmed, and you've got all of the things going on and it's not feeling good and it's not sitting right, first of all, the first thing I'd say to you is please listen to your gut. It's telling you something. You don't
Yeah.
want the brick in the back of the head like I did. But what's the next play? It could literally be moving something it could be tidying up your desk.
Agree. It's the little moments, isn't it? It's pulling you
It's the
back into
little
the present,
moments.
pulling you back into the present moment. What is the next play? What's the next little seed you can plant? Yeah, yeah, there's this external world where it's like, you need to do this, you need to do this, and I think this is where we get pulled so far out of
Yeah,
the moment, and we're in such a hurry all the time,
yeah.
or we're catastrophizing it to the nth degree.
And
Yes.
remembering your brain will go and source what it thinks you're telling it. Your brain has no emotion. This is all psychology. This is the research that I use in Serenity Project and for myself. When you focus on that, it will go and try to find it for you to make it happen. So whatever you focus on, you get. Same for marketing and advertising and social media. What you put out is what you get back. So it's no different with your own mind and what's happening. But when we focus on that next play, I know I will, I just don't know how. The thing that I can do, I call it the one thing that I can do right now is this. And you do that. And what'll happen is that you'll end up with the next thing and then the next thing. And
Thing.
then before you know it, the path is cleared, your phone's recalibrated on your map, and boom, you're off
You
again. And
go.
off you go again.
It's incredible. What a story, Bron. So tell me about the Serenity. Just quickly, we're at 41 minutes. This is what's happening. We get
I
into
wasn't
these
even
flow.
looking.
We get into this flow. I'm just looking. We get into this flow, these conversations. The Serenity Project. So tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the Serenity Project. It's your lived experience. It's you. However, you're helping
Yes,
people.
bigger than that. Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
bigger than you, but
Mm.
it's formed from you though, in terms of your own lived experience. And yet, I love the way you called out adversity is everyone has all different shapes and forms of adversity. So there's no comparison is what you're saying here. Mm.
There isn't. So where that all came from is because now that I've been, the nurse and educator for 30 odd years, now the patient, the way we're treating our patients is that we're siloing them because that's what the system does. So what I'm doing is creating awareness to have conversation to go, we can do better. We can do so much better. So bringing in the experts, America, Switzerland, other countries are doing better than us, but I'm just doing it from so it's based on a framework. It's based on the Serenity Star framework. It's based on expertise. It's based on research. It's not just based on just me talking shit, excuse my language. It's
Absolutely.
actually based on evidence. And so what happens there is I would imagine, and I'm putting it out again, that somewhere along the line, I'm going to be meeting someone or an organization where there'll be a collaboration where it may not get called Serenity Project, but it's the way we treat our patients with cancer. So when we go and speak to the health ministers and speak to the states, we can go, guys, we need some cash over here because we need to help these people.
Yeah, it's
I'm
so
in
true.
regional Australia. I do get less options here. It's not just, it's integrative medicine, but it's at the next level of that. And it should be standard of care in my book.
I
But
agree.
and when you're living through it, you'll know exactly. And when you're the loved ones, the carers, it's so far reaching that when we start, so I'm just walking, I'm building a tribe. Yeah, there's a book, there's a community, there's the podcast, there's all of the things. And what that is all for is to start changing the way we treat our patients with cancer and becoming that all-inclusive way that we are human beings, we are not human doings.
No, I love that. It's so true. It's so true. And yeah, the system needs to change and the care and the
And
human being.
it's no one's fault. It doesn't mean that people don't care. They do care. They're doing the best they can with what they have.
Yeah,
They really are.
I agree. I'm a big
But
believer
we
in
just
that.
want to pull in pull in the carries, pull in all of the different people who can provide treatment so that it's not an either and an or. It's an and it's an yes and that and that and that.
Science
So
is
that
the
when,
goal. It's a holistic.
yep.
It's science.
So when it, so that, you know what, if you want to go on, because I was told, like someone in my position, not a lot of people would travel because of the risk. I've found, I get insurance. My insurance is different to my kids, but I prepped and I'll do it again and again until I can't.
You're so inspiring, Bron.
Thank
Your
you.
star, the star on you, your star.
That's it. That's the Serenity Star. This is
Gorgeous.
actually my logo, would you believe, right back from the very beginning. The Bron Watson logo, then it became the Social Coach logo, then it became the Serenity Star logo. So I
And
carry
it
it with me to
decides
remind myself that this is like, we go to the North Star, we go to the Serenity Star. I'm just going there to remind me that I'm worthy and that I'm deserving of a path of healing. And when I feel bad, Bron, what's your path of healing today?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that. What, like, if for any of the listeners out there that might be having one of a moment or
Day, I have them all the time. I have them all the time. I'm very honest about that. It's a moment in time. I bring it back, Bron. What's your path? What's the path of healing today? And bring in, like, I wrote it in my journal. What does it mean? What's that mean
Mm,
today? And
yeah,
today is going to be different to tomorrow.
no, exactly. And it's a thought that will pass. This too shall pass, like it's
It's
back
this
to your
shoot. Hmm.
it's coming back to the map, right?
Coming back to
Bron,
the
how do
map.
we totally, how do we find out, well, how do we find out more about you? How do we read your book? How do we find out about the podcast? If we want to engage in the Serenity Project, how do we do all of that? How do we, social coach?
Thank you. So go to the serenityproject.com.au. If you're on socials, just find me, Bron Watson, is what I'm under. LinkedIn, and on the website, there's this thing called Fanless where you can go in and even voice record a message. So I will answer every single message, just so you know, me personally, not a machine, not another human, but this human. And because it's important.
Mm,
And yeah, so hook up there and then we can put you in whichever way you want to go. We can find that information for you. So that's the
incredible.
best place to find me.
So inspiring, Brian. I love this conversation with you. Thank you so much. And just such a good, poignant reminder that, moments are precious. So we
Moments
need
precious.
to stay in the moment.
Yep. Make every day count, my
uh,
friends.
Every
Make
day
every day
count.
count.
And I know it sounds ridiculous. I also think that as a family that dad has the same, like I
Yeah,
said,
you do know what I'm going through.
I know, and I see it, and it's just that ability to, I think for the listeners as well, is even if you're not living with somebody who has a terminal cancer diagnosis, it's just remember when you're in a hurry or you're rushing, you may not have that time again. So the ability to stop and just talk to a loved one or someone in the street that may not look that happy or sad and just checking in, like just a reminder that they are moments that are
They
precious.
matter.
Yeah,
They
they matter.
matter. And like with Paul, he sat at every appointment with me. He's been there everything. So it's not just me going through it.
No,
He
it's
goes through it. My children, my damn dogs go through it. Like people, we're in this together, my friends. We're not here. We
no,
want to hang together because there are really rough days. And I know that when things get hard for me, I'll go to ground, and hiding is not the answer,
no.
but it's being able to speak my truth, which is today's a bad day, and there is bad days.
Mm.
And then there's way more good days, but there are bad days.
Yeah, and I think
That's
we
the
need
reality of it.
it is, and it's okay. Like it's
And it's
okay. Like to
okay.
have the bad days, all the emotions, all the feels. Oh, Brian, I want to give you a massive virtual hug right now. Hopefully you're getting that.
You
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll get you
No, I
back on.
appreciate it.
Get you back on, and in the next, I don't know, 6 months maybe, and get you to
Yeah,
talk more
because the
about.
book will be out by then, so I'd love
Yeah.
to come and actually I can't wait to hold it in my hand, so
Yeah, and I can't wait for you to feature it. I can't wait to read it. So, Bron,
thank
thank you
you.
so much. Enjoy your evening or afternoon, I should say. It's only 3 p.m. here. So,
Mm,
and listeners, please comment, share, like, let us know what you do in your moments of as well and the precious moments. So, thank you. Thanks, Bron.
thank you.